So we're back out again. It's only a few days after we did the Rodos. So it's the start of April. We've still got this lovely spring sunny weather. It's nice and warm out of the wind, but in the wind it's still pretty cold. Northeasterly today, so yeah, feels pretty chilly. Just stood here on top of this little hill. I'd actually lost some roe deer from an area where they usually are through the winter, and just scouting around the other day, I've just noticed that they've cropped up in a little corner of fields where I don't usually see any deer at all, and they're just laid out there in the sun at the moment. There's about 7 out there, so hopefully within that group there'll be 1 or 2 bucks we can take. So I think we're obviously like a long way away from them at the moment. I think we'll just set the spotting scope up and just have a closer look and see what's there, and then we'll make a plan of attack. So yeah, we got the Spartan tripod obviously. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 roe that I can see. I mean, they're 900 metres away at the moment, and there's a fair heat haze coming off the field. So I think there's a couple of bucks there, but I can't get a really clear look at them at the moment. So we'll just have to get closer and see what's there on foot. Yeah, so we've just driven down off that hill. The deer are up behind you guys at the moment, just out of sight, in a bit of a dip. I've never stalked this bit in 20 years, so I'm just trying to work out the best place to park up to approach them. We might be able to stop here and then stalk down the bottom and then up to them, but as we go around the bottom of this field it might flatten out and we might be then walking across their vision. So I'm just going to drive around the other side, see if it looks any better from there. Just going to have a look through this hedge, but there's actually a muntjac right in the corner of this field, about 20 yards away from me. Yeah, so I can just see them, a couple of them are now up through there. Just where they're stood, it's quite open, so I don't think we're going to get along the bottom of this field. I think we're going to have to approach it from the other side, from that veg field, and just hope that we don't get too exposed as we come around the bottom corner. Yeah, so we've come down to the bottom corner of this field. Those deer are just up there in the far corner. So I'm hoping we can just go around the bottom edge here and just be out of sight. But the wind's also not great now we've got down here. It's sort of swirling in the bottom here. So hopefully as we go around that will come a bit more in our favour again. We'll give it a go. so as I thought, as we go along this last little bit, we're going to run out of cover from the ground in front of us. So we'll go along as far as we can until we see them on that hedgerow, and then maybe just pull back a little bit. And then we might just have to go straight up over the field towards them and just see if we get a safe shot that way. It's only about 250 metres in a straight line, so if we can get 100 metres over, then obviously we've got a good shot. So I can see at least one or two feeding the other side of the hedge now on the cereal field. So hopefully they've all crossed through into there and we can just keep going along how we are. We're nicely in the shade now, so obviously they've got the sun in their eyes, so yeah, fingers crossed. Just got to be aware there's a couple of pheasants moving on that hedgerow, which obviously if we stalk up there they could fly off and scare them. So we'll just have to go steady just to push them on slowly without them flying off. Looks like they've all crossed through. There's a muntjac buck in the corner of this brown field. But yeah, we should be able to just keep going along, get the other side of the hedge in that cereal field and then just creep up to them. See a couple out on the field. Hopefully the others are just tucked in on the hedge. But there's a muntjac just running up the hedgerow away from us, which obviously might alert them to us being here. So at the moment, the one in the middle is an old 6-point buck, quite narrow head on him, and the other two are just females. Can't see any others at the moment, they must still be tucked in the hedge. Just 150 metres. Just give it a couple of minutes, see if anything else pops out. Do is we'll take this old 6-pointer. It's quite a narrow head on it. Doesn't look like it's going to get much better, I don't think. And we know there's a younger buck there, which is like a nice young 4-pointer. So we'll give that a chance to come along. And there's probably going to be another sort of, mature-ish buck in the area anyway that will move in if we take this one out. Just while I was getting myself set up on the sticks, just to get a little bit more backstop. The buck's gone and sat down. Just got 2 muntjac working down the hedge towards us. Okay. Straight down. Yeah, that's good. The others are still standing there. They don't quite know what's going on, and there's a couple of pheasants making a racket. Yeah, we actually ended up shooting a different one to the one I said before. So I was going to take that old 6-pointer, but I was faffing about with the sticks a bit, and he sat down along with the 2 does he was with. So waited a few minutes. We had this little muntjac buck, or medium-sized muntjac buck, come up 20 yards away from us, which was a nice little encounter. He went back in the hedge, and then looked back up, and there was another 2 young bucks coming out. One of them was that little 4-pointer that we saw the other side in the corner of the brown field, and the one we've just shot, which had quite long, narrow antlers, and basically looked like a 3-pointer. So out of the 3 that were there, that was sort of the best one to cull at the time. Yeah, so we'll just give it a couple of minutes and we'll go and have a look and yeah, see what it looks like in detail. Yeah, good. So, just a shoulder shot. It's actually maybe blown a little bit in the wind. Just come across a couple of inches on where I was aiming at about 150 metres. These are like 80 grain copper bullets. So yeah, it's a good one to take out really. Sort of for, I don't know, 3-year-old or something, 3-4-year-old. Yeah, as you can see, it's got fairly long, narrow antlers. And we don't really want these narrow ones anymore. We've managed to get rid of quite a lot of these over the years. We're trying to get them a bit more sort of wine glass shaped and a bit wider in the middle. And you can see on this side there's a little tine coming, but not really much of a tine, and there's just a smaller on this side. So yeah, just a good one to take out for genetic reasons really. Yeah, nice carcass, still in winter coat, because obviously the older ones keep their coat longer, so that's why a lot of the buck kids from 2024 are molting heavily and looking quite scrubby this time of year. So yeah, good result. Like I say, the best one of the 3 bucks that were there to cull on this occasion. Yeah, so if you see that big gap in the hedge there onto the brown field in the background, that's where the roe were sat down originally, where we saw them from on top of the hill. So we'll just go through there and I'll show you where we were parked up on the other side. Yeah, so all the deer would have basically walked through here onto the cereal field, and then they were laid up on this side. One was over in the corner here. Actually, I was stood on the mud. You can see where they've been couched up here, where the grass is all flattened out. They were sort of dotted across here, sort of down there about 5 metres or so. And then we were looking at them from on top of the hill over here. You've got that sort of quite open tree line, comes up from the left we were parked on the right hand side of it where it finishes. Then you've got that irrigation reel further to the right where we were. Great, well that'll do me for this afternoon. That's the first Roe Buck I've shot this season. Most of those are all done with clients anyway. So we'll leave anything else this afternoon and I'll walk back and get the truck. Well, there we go, another one put into the larder. This one weighs 15 kilos, so a good weight for a buck in this area. Yeah, next month we'll be back to filming sort of middle of the month, so it'll be middle of May. Obviously cover will be getting well up and the crops will be, you know, getting up around our knees and nice and wet in the mornings. So yeah, we'll see how we get on in a month's time, and yeah, please keep watching. Cheers.